Hello, this is Homa. In this video, I am going to demonstrate the results from Lab 4 in ECE 230, Intro to Microcontrollers with Dr. Miller. The title of Lab 4 is Interrupt-Driven Timer 1 Capture and Compare Music Player and Instrument Tuner. So in this lab, I'm using interrupts by writing an interrupt routine that uses the compare and capture modules. And in this lab, I'm going to use both of the compare and capture modules, number 1 and number 2, because both of them are needed. One of them is needed in order to generate either a tone or an entire song. The other module is necessary in order to compare what frequency is being input to pin 16 of the circuit from the function generator and compare it with the tone that I have programmed to be generated by the module in order to indicate with the LEDs whether those frequencies match, or the input frequency is lower than the microcontroller programs or higher. So for the first part, what I did was use the compare and capture module number 1 in the compare and toggle mode in order to generate a 440 Hz musical tone, which is the same thing as the middle A on a piano or a violin. And this compare and capture module number 1 is used on the CCP1 pin of the PIC. And so the other task in this program, in part 1, is to use compare and capture module number 2 in the capture mode to, at the same time, measure the period from rising edge to rising edge of the square wave on the CCP2 pin. And the square wave is coming from the function generator, as I said before. And one of the LEDs will light up if the frequency is 440 Hz and above, and it'll turn on if it's less than 440 Hz. So, let's test this program. But first, I just would like to point out the indicator LEDs that will be used to indicate the frequencies. And then, this is the PIC16F887 microcontroller, which I'm using in this entire course. These are the resistors, 220 ohms, that are connected to the LEDs so that there's not too much current going through them. And this is the push button, which I will use for the final part of this demo to initiate the playing of a song. This is the 8 ohm speaker that I'm using, which is now playing a 440 Hz tone, even though I haven't downloaded the program yet, because the circuit is connected and it's showing me it works. This is a MOSFET. This is, well, a type of transistor that its job is to source enough current to drive the speaker without using too much. Well, we'll account for that later. Anyway, the point of this FET is to source the amount of current that the microcontroller PIC itself cannot source. This can only source a few milliamps of current. This can switch on and off a lot more current. This potentiometer is going to be like a volume dial that controls how loud the tone is coming from this speaker. And this 22 ohm resistor, not 220 ohms like over there, 22 ohms, it's limiting the amount of current that can go into the 8 ohm speaker so that the speaker is not damaged. Okay, so this is part 1, and as you can see it can be quite loud, so I'm turning it down. And this is the LED indicator light. Since it's at 440 Hertz, the light lights up. 441, 442, 452, and as you can see the light is still on. So now let's go below 440 Hertz. It's 439 Hertz here and the light's still on, so this program or the circuit isn't perfect, but now at 438 Hertz you can see that the light is off. Light's still off, back on. So that's part 1. Now for part 2 of the lab, I basically did the same thing as part 1 of the lab. Same CCP modules used and everything. It's just that I generated a G tone, 392 Hertz, with the program, and 3 LEDs will be used to indicate whether the input square wave is sharp, either higher than 392, in tune, so exactly at 392, or flat, less than 392, and one of the 3 LEDs will light up, as demonstrated. Here we go. There's the sharp LED. As you can see, was still at 441 Hertz, so it's telling me that's too sharp, that input square wave relative to my tone. So if I crank it down, 405 Hertz, the sharp LED is still lit. 396 Hertz, LED is still lit. 394, still lit. 393, the LED, sharp LED is still lit. 392, still says it's sharp, so again, circuit is not perfect. Let's go down to 391. And you can see that this LED over here, the in-tune LED, is lighting up, kind of its struggle. Let's go down to 390 and the struggle gets resolved. It's too flat. Goes down to 380 Hertz, and you can see the flat LED is still lit. So there's part 2.